And that's why I appreciate you. Are you ready to see what is trending now, team?
Of course,
keep it going.
Let's have a look. I look forward to your very interesting submissions.
Yeah.
Good morning to our wonderful audience. I like to say that TVC has a finger on the pulse and our eyes on the streets. And here on the Trending Now segment on the TVC Breakfast Show, my team and I do our best. We sift through the internet and we find stories that are shaping the world that you and I live in. We begin today with this bit of political news, where with the 2027 presidential election months away, political alignments are already beginning to take shape. The president of the Arewa Youths has now declared that the Nigeria Democratic Congress presidential candidate Peter Obi should not expect support from northern Nigeria. He insists that no northern states will vote for him in the next presidential election. Speaking during a television interview, the youth leader said the group will instead support a presidential candidate it believes has demonstrated commitment to northern interests. He also warned that any of the group's state coordinators who publicly backs Peter Obi against its position could be removed from office. This is what he had to say.
Peter Obi for 2027 presidential election. The reason is this: Peter Obi did not consult us before coming out to campaign or coming out to contest for president in 2027. And Peter Obi did not inform us about his presidential campaign for 2027. So you can never be president in Nigeria without the support of northern Nigerian youth. So we have no any agreement with Peter P. World and any single state that voted for Peter Obi. We are going to sack and replace the state coordinator.
Well, his remarks have, of course, generated debate online, as expected, with many Nigerians now arguing that no organization or pressure group can determine how an entire region will vote. People are saying that electoral decisions ultimately rest, rightly so, with individual citizens. But I believe the big question now is, how much influence do socio-political organizations still have on voting patterns at a time when many Nigerians, particularly younger voters, increasingly make independent political choices? Let's have a look at social media. Sergey One says, no northern states will vote for Peter Obi in 2027. That is a bold prediction. But here's the thing, people vote for results, not region. If Peter Obi's policies speak to the northern people, let's move on. Patrick Ekon chimes in. He says, the audacity of speaking as though the North owns the country by claiming that no one can become president without the support of northern Nigeria's youth. Mr. Shomi, the framing that the Arewa youth president used is very interesting. You know, he says Peter Obi did not consult us. He didn't even say he has not executed any grassroots. He didn't make it sound like it was for the people. It sounded like he was an established power structure. And to sort of predict the voting polls ahead of 2027 based on your own personal predictions and personal proclivities, people are saying the power doesn't rest with you, it rests with the people. But what do you make of this?
Yeah, I mean, Peter Obi brought this on himself. When he was the governor in Anambra State, many Northerners still remembered clearly how he treated them. There were allegations of the fact that he booted them out of the state. I'm sure it cannot be all the Northerners, but those few people affected actually got the news spread. And if you look at El-Rufai's case also, who alleged that he was locked up in one hotel, you know, that he was barricaded into the hotel by when Obi was in power. So there are a lot of issues of the past haunting, you know, the ghost of the past haunting the person. But the truth of the matter is, in my view, I think Obi stands a chance of going through the North. You know, to win any states in the North will be a tall order. Even with Kwakwazo backing, I doubt whether they can win Kano. So it's still back to our primordial sentiments, which people, one way or the other, may try to deny. But the fact of the matter is, you're likely going to see people voting one way or the other. I mean, how do you explain, in the case of last election, when Obi won all the states in the Southeast, you know, by over 80–90%? I mean, it's quite incredible. That tells you that it's still a reality. So if you have people from the North now saying that, look, we are not likely going to vote Peter Obi, we are going to vote and block somewhere else, then so be it. It's the reality of our political situation currently.
Well, if you ask me, I believe that it's the will of the people. So nobody should come and say somebody should not vote this, somebody should not vote that, because it's the people. The people will determine who they want to vote, who they don't want to vote. It's political season. People will come out and say so many things. A lot of people will be speaking, at this point. When it comes to his statements, I don't really agree with him, actually. Let people do what they want to do, especially when it comes to, electoral matters, because you're not going to influence, everybody. Yes, you are for the Arewas, but are you for all the Arewas in total? Do all the Arewas agree with you? So it's actually a very dicey one, and I do not like people trying to influence the opinions, of others. Peter Obi has had his own ups and downs and all of that, but nobody should influence anybody against voting for who they believe they want to lead them.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your input, team. Moving on, as the countdown to the Osun governorship election continues, music superstar Davido is now taking on a very different role. He's campaigning for his uncle, and he's now urging voters to keep this election peaceful. The Afrobeat star addressed a press conference in Osogbo, where he called on residents to come out, vote freely, and resist any form of intimidation during the August 15th election. Davido, who serves as chairman of the Imole Youth Mobilization Campaign Committee, is leading youth engagement efforts for Governor Ademola Adeleke's re-election campaign under the 4+4 slogan. But beyond campaigning, the singer also highlighted the importance of security, electoral transparency, and broad voter participation as political activities gather momentum across the state. And I like that it's a peaceful urge. Let's have a look.
But I urge everyone to remain calm. Like I said before, no political ambition, disagreement, or election is worth the life of an Osun son or daughter. Let us reject violence. I'll say it again. Let us reject violence in the Osun State election, or use the state as a political battleground to prove a point. I do not present these claims as facts, but I appeal to you, sir, to use your influence to promote peace.
Davido's involvement once again reflects the growing involvement of celebrities in Nigeria's political space, not just as campaign supporters, but as voices encouraging civic participation. And with just days to the election, the bigger question now is, can celebrity endorsements influence voter behavior, or do they simply energize supporters who've already made up their minds? What did you think about this? No, sir, I'm going to take some tweets and then I'm going to come to you. Egbon BJ says, Davido is using his massive platform to push a clear message. Reject violence, come out and vote freely, respect the outcome, and don't let political ambition destroy lives or the state. In a country where elections frequently bring tension, intimidation, and worse, that kind of public appeal from a major celebrity carries weight. And Chill Exploit says, let the will of the people come first. Once the will of the people come first, it would be peaceful. I agree. Sorry, Mr. Shomi, I had to cut you off. I wanted to get some perspective online before I came to you. What are your thoughts, sir?
Yeah, I think the truth is celebrities can influence some people, but not all the people. That's the truth of the matter. In this very case, you have an Adeleke, trying to influence people to support an Adeleke. You have a Davido trying to support his uncle, particularly given the flailing, the campaign of the uncle, given all the crises, the issues, all the allegations, around not only the family involvement, trying to still keep the governorship within the family, the scandal over the structurally defective bridge and all that. So, of course, it will take a Davido to try and see whether they can reverse, the trend of events. It's going to be a very highly competitive election.
All right, we all know that Osun elections are very competitive. That's a no-brainer. This is not the first time Davido is publicly supporting his uncle. And like I said yesterday, who would he support if not his uncle? Blood is extremely thicker than water. But then again, Davido said something that really made a lot of sense, and I stand with him on that. This particular election, we do not want to see violence. And that has been my cry to INEC. We want a free, fair, and credible election. The will of the people of Osun has to be done. And it has to be done in a way that nobody is going to lose their lives. come the 15th of August, all eyes are on Oshun, all eyes are on Adeleke of the Accord and Oyebamiji of the APC. But most importantly, we do not want any election that people will lose their lives and there'll be violence. I'm hoping that we'll have a large voter turnout for people to come out and just exercise their rights. But I agree with Davido. Let's do it peaceful. It's democracy. At the end of the day, one person wins and one person loses. But most importantly, may the best person win. The person that will not just make promises, but also deliver on his promises for the people of Oshun.
A very interesting observation. I respect the fact that he didn't mention any political parties' names. He didn't mention anybody's names. And at the very least, love him or hate him, he's encouraging civic participation. Thank you for your input, team. Moving on, what happens when soldiers are seen being personal security for celebrities? Now, the Nigerian army appears determined to draw a line in the sand. The Nigerian army has arrested 2 serving soldiers over their involvement in an unauthorized deployment during the wedding ceremony of content creators Pella and Jarvis in Lagos. Now, these arrests reportedly followed intelligence gathered after videos from this high-profile event went viral on social media, and it showed uniformed military personnel around some of the celebrity guests. And one of the clips appeared to show a soldier escorting a guest through the crowd, and it prompted questions about whether military personnel had been assigned to a private social function without the proper approval. Military sources now say that investigations are underway to determine the extent of the alleged unauthorized deployment and whether other personnel were involved. As expected, this incident is opening up conversation about the proper use of our military personnel and whether members of the armed forces should ever be deployed to private events like weddings. Well, as this investigation continues, many Nigerians are now asking where the line should be drawn between legitimate VIP protection and the misuse of military resources for private occasions like weddings. Do we have any tweets? Let's have a look. Abiola Akimbobola says, this is very good. Our military officers should not reduce themselves to bodyguards just like our police. Make una no spoil the military for us. And Nedu says, they should be sanctioned because every offense should be punished, but they should not be dismissed. For those asking why, they were not meant to be on their uniforms off duty and then using the uniforms for other reasons. So yes, they should be penalized, but still, temper justice with a little mercy. Very interesting. Team, what do you make of this, Mr. Show? We know that earlier on this year, we saw that police escorts and some other security escorts were removed from VVIPs and VIPs. Do you think that this is the same line of thinking here? What do you think should be the penalty for this? We have people online who are now crying welfare. They're not paid well. That's why they do bodyguard work. But I want to know your thoughts within the context of the law.
Well, the Nigerian soldiers are paid to protect the sovereignty of our country, to defend it, and not to act as private security guards in wedding functions, private wedding functions, to start with. The truth of the matter is that these soldiers were said to come from the medical corps, and therefore they are supposed to be on duty in the hospitals. If they are not there, then they are not expected to be providing, private security arrangement or to participate in it in any form. I agree the military authority, they are correct, they need to clamp down on this, they need to take it seriously and use this as a deterrent against further abuses of our Nigerian soldiers. In addition to that, if for any reason anyone is found to have paid money to get them to abandon their duty and do a private security guard job, I think the person should also be arrested for bribery and corruption.
Well, this is not funny at all because these are our gallant soldiers. And I say this to people, is it that you want to be a soldier or you want to be a bodyguard? Choose your hustle. You cannot be two at the same time. When things like this happen, it makes people lose respect for the uniform and lose respect for the work as well. When we talk about being a soldier, it's a very prestigious work. You are protecting, the nation, not following some so-called celebrity to a wedding party trying to protect her. And I'm going to go harsh with this one. I believe that they need to give them a stern warning, and not just the warning. If possible, they should be stripped of their uniform, because it will set as a precedent for how others will behave. Because if they do not take this, highly, it would come and be like something like we saw with the police officers that the president had to now say, you know what, I'm stripping off police officers from VIPs. So I think it's something the police force should really, really look into. This is not just about, giving them suspension. Take their uniform off, because what were they thinking, to follow someone like that to a party, and they were videoing you all over? Do you know what it is to be a soldier of a country, it's not the best. It's
Absolutely.
not the best.
Thank you very much for your input, team. Now moving on to international news, a throwback interview featuring New York Mayor Zoran Mamdani is giving Nigerians another reason to smile on the internet. An old radio interview on South Africa's Kaya FM has resurfaced online, and it shows Mayor Mamdani enthusiastically praising Nigerian music and its influence on African pop culture. In this viral clip, he applauded a Nigerian artist for popularizing dance moves alongside their songs. And he shouted out stars like Lil Kesh and Yemi Alade, and he described Nigeria's growing cultural impact across the continent as commendable. Of course, that video has quickly gained traction on social media, and many Nigerians are celebrating this very unexpected connection and revisiting the era when dance trends like shoki dominated charts all across Africa. Have a look.
I mean, we also do, our showkees. We do our showkees in Kampala. But I mean, having a dance move to a song is a big thing, right? But I would say the Nigerians have really patented that. The Nigerians come out with a song, like Yemi Alade has a song called, what's the name? Kofi Annan. She has a song called Kofi Annan. Do the Kofi Annan. Now all my friends in Kampala are doing the Kofi Annan, right? So Ugandans, we don't really have as many dance moves associated with a song. But we will always dance. We are always dancing. That's the thing. The difference for me is, I'm from Uganda, but I also grew up in New York. In New York, you don't really, you go out, some guys are very hesitant to dance. If they're not grinding, they're just standing. In Kampala, you will just not find that. People are all dancing. Everybody's dancing. Men, women, and it's fantastic that way.
At the time that Mayor Mamdani did that interview, he was sharing his views as a young commentator. But today, he serves as the mayor of New York City, one of the world's most influential political offices. He was born in Uganda to Indian parents, and his long-standing appreciation for Nigerian music and culture has now come full circle. And many Nigerians are embracing the resurfaced clip as a reminder of our country's enduring global cultural influence. Let's have a look at social media. Let me shock you over there. Eric Idele says, life really has a way of bringing old footage back at the right time. Zoran Mamdani was clearly tapped into Nigerian culture before many people even noticed. Shoki, Lil Kesh, Yemi Alade, Nigerian music really left its mark globally. Erickson says, Naija to the world. Mayor already knew the assignment. Shoki forever. And finally, Happy Stone says, sounds like he knows his stuff. That Yemi Alade track is a vibe. Now, team, this is a viral story. I don't make the rules. It's really trending online. But two things stood out to me on observing that video. One is that he was once just a young commentator. Now he's a mayor of New York City. Number two, Nigerian influence is patented into the very fiber of the world. Music, arts, sports, Mr. Show Me. In every fiber of society, people know us for certain traits. And this is just a fun story that really went viral online.
Look, no doubt about it, there's something about our culture that keeps it going. If you look at the whole of Africa, when you talk about Nigerian culture, you find it virtually everywhere. Go to Cuba, go to Haiti, go to Dominican Republic, go to Brazil, go to UK, go to Belgium, go to Italy, virtually everywhere, including our traditional practices, including our fraternal organizations everywhere. So also our footballers, so also our music. And in Africa, I'm glad many Africans are embracing Nigerian music, but I will use this opportunity to urge Mayor Mamdani to try and visit Lagos, come and taste Nigerian in Nigeria.
Exactly. Olamide, what I've learned from the story is that you never know who you'll be tomorrow. You never know what tomorrow holds. Just a young guy speaking, and today look at the position that he holds. So it just says that, keep working hard. But on the Nigerian issue, wherever you go, you will find great Nigerians. And even apart from that, Nigerians have continued to set the stage for everything, set the precedence for everything. When we talk about Afrobeats, we know the amount of work that our artists have pushed to push our music you know, across borders, talk about Yemi Alade, Davido, Whiskey, these people, wherever you go in the world and you mention their names, people actually know them. Another beautiful thing about it is that we have the songs, not just the song comes with dances, and I saw that's something that he actually highlighted on. So it's beautiful to see that we keep flying that Nigerian flag high. When we say Nigeria to carry last, this is exactly what we mean. He needs to come to Nigeria and now feel the food and also the culture.
Absolutely, and I believe this story is a reminder that Nigerian music is a viable, tangible, global social export. We can really sell our music and it goes places. Thank you so much for your input, team. On that note, shocky the shocky. Well, moving on, it's time for notable timelines, where we tell you about who